This is Tucker Rowe. You may not know him, but you will. And soon students around Texas will hear his story. His mom has made it her mission to lobby the Texas Legislature for Tucker's Law and create a new awareness around fentanyl poisoning. She's doing it out of love for her son Tucker, and so other parents won't have to share a story like this. A mother's love knows no bounds, even when it comes to tattoos.
I never thought I would want a tattoo on my arm, not to mention this big of one.
And it makes Stefanie Turner laugh when she thinks about how her son Tucker would react.
I think he would think I'm ridiculous. I think he'd probably be like, oh my gosh, Mom, I cannot believe you have a tattoo of my face on your arm.
But it's a badge of honor for Stefanie, a conversation starter she hopes will save lives.
And so I let them know, like, this is my son, and he died from fentanyl poisoning, and this is what happened.
It's a story she never thought she would have to tell about her loving, big-hearted son, Tucker.
Fun kid, very curious, and wanted to explore himself, like do it himself. He'll figure it out himself.
And like many teenagers, he was just trying to figure out his future, deal with a breakup, and manage a social media world full of bad influences and anxiety.
So when he went to high school was when I noticed life just felt harder for him.
To calm the chaos, he decided to experiment.
He started with marijuana.
Then Stefanie says Tucker bought what he thought was a Xanax off social media to quiet the noise.
I found him, he was in a seizure state, and he had taken a half of a pill that had fentanyl in it. I called 911 immediately, and they came and they were able to give him Narcan.
A close call, but he survived.
So he went willingly to a treatment center.
Stefanie says just a hint of that fentanyl took hold.
Fentanyl is very, very addictive, and it's very powerful. So he was, in treatment for his addiction.
Then Tucker's life was turning around.
He was 4 months sober. He was living his best life. So it looked on the outside, and he was training with his dad for a triathlon.
Tucker was getting closer to that triathlon with his dad and wanted to gain some weight, so he asked his mom to load him up with his favorite meal.
He was very appreciative for all of the food I sent him home with, and he said, "Thanks, Mom," and he was walking to his truck, and I stood on the porch and watched him walk away, and I said, "I love you so much, I'm so proud of you," and he said, "I love you too, I'll see you tomorrow."
But Tucker didn't show up for work the next day, so Stefanie drove to his house. He bought another pill off someone on social media.
I turned the corner, and his street was lined with police cars, and I pulled behind a detective who was getting out and putting on blue gloves, and I just said, "My baby's gone." And he said, "Ma'am, I just got here." And I said, "No, I know." And that's the worst possible thing, to walk up to your child's house to see a bunch of police officers just standing there.
Stefanie's anguish turned to anger.
I also felt such rage at this drug and how addictive it is and how sneaky it is.
Then she turned the anger into action, starting Texas Against Fentanyl. She spearheaded an effort to get Narcan into Leander ISD and lobbied the Texas Legislature for HB 3908, called Tucker's Law.
House Bill 3908 is passed to engrossment.
We are at war.
Representative Terry Wilson is sponsoring Tucker's Law to get a program into schools immediately and a fentanyl awareness week.
At the end of the day, if it could just save one life, it's well worth it. Every minute of every hour of every day.
Stefanie's tattoo may fade, but Tucker is forever etched on her heart, and she says it's her calling now to spread Tucker's story to save lives.
I realized that this was just a big epidemic that we were in, and so I wanted to be a voice. I wanted to be open about Tucker's story and his struggles, because I know that Tucker would not want anyone else to struggle like he did.
Knowing just one pill can kill. Walt Macaborsky, CBS Austin News.